How you doing? You can call. I am. You can call who you can call Brother Outlaw. Um, I was watching a video earlier today, uh, by a dude named Papa Duck, but him and among other people I've been watching lately. Dealing with the black community and stuff like that. And he had a very good video about how how people have been acting, getting their stimulus checks, and I guess when it comes down to our people, it's kind of iffy sometimes whether we get our check or not. And even a part of the video of a guy who killed four people all because he wanted half of the stimulus check when when one of the people who was basically based off because the guy wasn't taking care of his kid, from what I understand, and the mother was like, "No, I ain't trying to let you have it. I'm just trying to take care of my kids. Your kid too, and you're not working, but I am. Blah blah blah." And but the worst part about it was that the man decided to kill her. I believe so. Killed her and like three other members of her family, and that's such a sad state of affairs. But stuff like that will escalate and can escalate more because when people become desperate, they become dangerous. And the way things are going in society, if people don't know or they don't want to know, or people aren't telling the truth, or they're nervous on telling the truth, I can understand completely. Because when it comes to telling the truth, there are consequences to it. That's the truth. There are consequences to telling the truth about what goes on in this society, in this world, because the devil does not want it to be known. But even now, they're getting to the point that they're being blatant about about broadcasting who they are, and they're broadcasting it. Some people just see it as entertainment when it really isn't. But the truth of the matter is, when people are asking like, why is it like this, and why are they doing this, whether you want to believe it or not, if you take the time to read Revelations and you get to the part about the mark of the beast, you can sit back. If you sit back and pay attention to see how things are being played out, you can see the manipulation that leads us towards the mark of the beast. I'm pretty sure a lot of people, I'm pretty sure there are some people who've been saying this. I haven't caught them yet, but if they're not, I do believe that this is something that needs to be said. And I know there's going to be some people who would think like, "Oh, I don't take everything seriously from the Bible, and I don't trust the Bible." Well, I respect that because I mean, over thousands of years since the Bible's been around, it's not like someone hasn't tried to tamper with it. You know, because we know that if God made that Bible God's self, nothing could change that. Nothing. There'd be no way to copyright it and put it in their own form because it would correct itself. At least that's how I believe it would work. Um, but the thing is, even if you don't take the time to read Revelations and get caught up on the time that we're at right now, because even when they talk about the mark of the beast, people will demand it because of the simple fact that people will need it to survive, to be able to use it as currency. This is how it's explained in Revelations. Now, mind you, you have to read it because I can't say, I'm not going to sit here and quote it, but you have to read. It speaks about it in Revelations. And I know somebody out there has the scripture, but it needs to be spoken to the populace, to people. This needs to be understood that that's why we're in the situation that we're in. COVID, people aren't working, people are struggling to take care of their families. So people are being put in a situation where they have to depend on the government. And at the end of the day, no matter what anybody says, I believe that the people who work in the government work for the devil. I believe that the devil is very real. I mean, I've known of. I mean, every country around the world has stories dealing with like demons and spirits and other unworldly beings and stuff. So we can't sit back and say that it's all fake and made up stories. There has to be something to it. And the truth of the matter is, there is something to it. They're pushing the agenda so that way we can be manipulated by losing out on a whole lot of stuff, from ways to taking care of our family and feed ourselves and clothe ourselves and to pay our bills, so that we depend on them to stay afloat. If you think about it, and you put the two and two together, it'll make a whole lot of sense. It doesn't take a whole lot of brain power. It's just that we're depending on the government to give us stimulus checks, to give us money. Israel already put out that you have to take the vaccine. They took the vaccine shot so they can go into buildings and stores and stuff like that. My own job asked me, if we wanted to take the vaccine, at some point in time, it'll probably get to a point where it probably will be mandatory. Because a lot of people are dying and a lot of people are still sick, and they're gonna paint it as well. The people who probably still spreading around are the people who didn't take the vaccine shot. But in turn, the people who took the vaccine shot shouldn't have to worry about nobody not having the mask or not taking the shot, because they're the ones who should not be getting sick. Correct? I'm just saying, you know. But whether you want to believe it or not, this is some form of manipulation to keep us, in a sense, trying to be dependent on the government. And probably for some people, they'll probably be like, well, how can you label the government like that? And, that doesn't make sense because they're the ones trying to help us. But, I would say, think about that. Like, if you say that they're there to help us, then how come there are some other countries who get a better stimulus check than we do? How come, they didn't take the necessary precautions to be prepared for this when it was coming, when we knew it was coming to the country in the first place? You get what I'm saying? So the lack of preparation, the lack of understanding, these are necessary things that happen so people can become dependent on the system. Because if it was prepared for, we wouldn't really probably need a whole lot of stimulus money just to stay afloat, because we were prepared for it from the very beginning. Me being prior military, we like to prepare for certain events as best as we possibly can, and just adapt to the ones that we can't control. So when I sit back and I'm watching people, get mad at not getting a stimulus check or not getting enough for the stimulus check, or people are dancing, shucking, and jiving when they get the stimulus money, they only become problematic, or things become problematic when their money starts to run out. Because as the money is only so comes out so much, people are going to expect the government to give them another set of amount, hopefully more or the same amount, so that way they can stay afloat. So these things need to be understood. And besides, it needs to be understood because we need to understand what time it is, what time frame that we're in. And if people are wondering, and if you're wondering what time frame it is, let me be the first. If more than likely I'm not the first, but if so, let me be the first to tell you that we are in the end of days. And that might be a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, because we all realized the type of situations that are going to come about from being in this time period. But that's why you have to keep your heart, mind, and body and spirit connected to the Most High. You have to. But the thing is that we are in that time period. People are going to be demanding the mark of the beast. They already told you where it's supposed to be. It's already been written where it's supposed to be at. Everybody pretty much knows where you're supposed to get it, on your head or on your hand. And they already told you where, you already know where one of them devices is going in your body.